Hi everyone, Vinay, thanks for having me today. So for the today webinar, we'll discuss the main parameters of the effective deployment for the robotic process automation. We'll start with the intelligent automation. We'll talk about workers to process APIs, integration of the data capturing tool and its various parameters, and then we'll follow up with the question and answers. But before jumping onto our main agenda, I'd just like to talk about the value editors, the value indicators of the RPA. So the key drivers of value for the RPA includes speed of processing, improved accuracy, high availability, reduction of the cost, robust traceability, high flexibility, ease of deployment, and healthy ROI and shorter payback. When we talk about the speed of processing, it's generally the RPA can process the bot deployed using RPA can process transactions much more faster at a very higher pace than human can do it with effective and improved accuracy, which human tends to miss out, having slight zero errors within it. The availability of the bots is not a concern, it's not an issue, it's not even a question to ask because our bots are available 24/7. They don't get sick, they don't have any absenteeism in themselves, and they are always ready to work how the way we schedule them to work. Having the bot whenever we talk about deploying the bots or the robotics itself, people thought about much more cost in between, cost in itself. The higher the license cost, more that will increase your revenue for the whole organization. But the robot license costs are not as higher as people think. The average as higher as people think, and it's not really. It's close to the average cost of the human workforce. So this actually you deprived can allow you to have add more value within your organization by introducing the bots. It has much more higher traceability. You can have your complete audit trails from your bots activities using different solutions. It has much more flexibility. It does not run out of capacity. It's not overboard. It's not overburdened. It need bot know themselves, can be programmed the way to take care of the significant peaks and the higher value hours. Deploying bot is not an issue. It's a very lightweight enterprise solutions are available to deploy those bots, and these bots can be deployed at a fairly low rate than the other enterprise technology implementations take care of. Typically, RPA can drive about 20% of your FTE savings. RPA automation can be developed in a matter of weeks. So you can have your quick wins, and then you can have your long-term vision as well. So beyond establishing the quick wins and making a journey more potentially self-funded, RPA led you to transformation to pave the way for adoption and have more advanced automation solutions, which are the intelligent automation. To have a more conversive value-added drivers for the bot itself, you just talk about the augmented reality, the mirror for the human intelligence. You want to have your bot to be more smart to take care of the complex task. The organizations are like in a process to adopt more advanced automation technologies. If we talk about workers to process APIs, so we talk about bots, but we don't talk about the systems which are connecting with the bots. So since we all know like RPA is surely a game changer in today's days, automating rudimentary tasks which used to be done manually or large volume of repetitive transactions which are done in tedious and laborious way by human agents. Using RPA as a tool to connect systems or to enable integration is a different ball game altogether. While RPA and the concept of virtual workers, which are the software robots, is well known, an important aspect to consider is a lot of the scenarios where RPA is used that would involve interacting with different applications and systems. When enterprises are faced with the need to enable integrations in their IT solutions, they would need to decide on how this would be executed. Knowing that integration is needed is a solution to many problems in an enterprise setup, but the solution has to be executed well and properly to be truly useful. So let us consider this particular figure, which is available on your screen right now, where we have all been acquainted with good customer services or bad customer services, and we all have had our experiences with customer services of the support desk. Typically, in a call center or a support desk agents that interact with multiple systems or applications to give an accurate response to customer, When a customer makes a call and is directed to the call center agent, she would generally have to navigate multiple systems or tools, and they have to manage a customer conversation as well with utmost quality and responsibility. It is also required that if the same customer has used a different channel to communicate in the enterprise previously, all that information should be up to date and available to the agent who is taking any required action. Having to switch back and forth between systems or screens or channels, it is really cumbersome, time consuming, and could well impact the response and response time to the customer. No customer has the time or patience anymore to repeat any information in these conversations, and certainly not if they have called with a complaint and are already agitated. Let's not forget the resultant activities of these customer conversations. Obviously, the agents would have to update the records in one or more systems based on the details of the call, as well as take action or propose actions in one or more systems. These multiple actions definitely impact the agent productivity. So RPA can be used here to automate many of the common tasks in a customer service or support desk, such as incident ticket management, FAQs, system administration tasks, updating records, consolidation of information, so as to have a one-stop shop for the agent to work with rather than multiple screens or systems. Not only can it ensure tasks run effortlessly all the time with no dependency on night or day, and address and resolve problems on its own, it is also key to realize that it can link disparate systems and applications into a single one. With RPA in this scenario, agents can be free from having to switch back and forth, perform multiple manual tasks and repetitive processes across system, and can focus instead on engaging customer experiences. Certainly with RPA automating these processes, faster turnaround for customer requests can be assured with better outcomes. RPA can be a very handy when we want to integrate multiple systems and third-party applications. With focus to enable a seamless experience for the users and therefore heighten productivity, especially in scenarios where the source code for the integrating application is not available. RPA products can be very handy and the right choice to enable these integrations, connecting of multiple systems for unified user experiences. The other choice, while RPA has been explained in many ways in interesting description for its all intelligent solutions. Essentially, RPA often enables integration in scenarios where no other integration is possible. So the package its solution advanced, like considered around solution to be considered for support desk or improve customer service is the use of most CRM packages, or at least like the good ones with complete features and multiple and flexible frameworks for automation and integration. So the RPA can be explained many of the interesting descriptions. Essentially, RPA often enables integrations in scenarios with no other integration is possible. In such scenarios, it is possible to integrate multiple applications, customs apps, package solutions, etc. in a seamless manner so long as the APIs for the application are available. In the case where source code APIs are not available, the only way to achieve such a seamless integration is probably via RPA, because RPA is simplistically understood as a virtual user that can interact with systems, platforms, regardless of the availability of the APIs. However, in the alternate scenario, when source code APIs are in fact available, integration using API is certainly something to be considered. The first and foremost consideration while making a choice between RPA and API for integration is a basic availability. Availability of the API for the native integration or source code of the application is essential to facilitate integration. Assuming the application that needs to be integrated, having these another aspect that needs to be considered is if connecting to the APIs of the application is free, of cost or warrants additional licensing, or any additional run time cost. RPA can also certainly will have a cost license to it. So a comparison on this needs to be made such that the investment is justified. One more aspect to be considered is also if the API-based integration has the capability to achieve all the needed functionalities, or it is simpler to use a RPA framework and enable repeat learning from agents action. An important factor to consider is time, because in business scenarios, not all the applications to be connected might be up and running, and in some cases, the need for an integrated, seamless solution might be urgent. In such cases, RPA can be used as a quick fix to solving the integration problem between disparate applications, whereas API can be considered as the structured and long-term solution for this problem. The nature of this functionality also contributes for the choices here. In business scenarios that are likely to the functioning of the processes, API can be used as permanent solution, and for fringe cases, RPA can be used. RPA and API integration can be positioned as a solution options for the same business's problem. Various influencer parameters can be considered to evaluate the right choice between these two. Depending mainly on the time and cost consideration of an enterprise, choosing a solution that works well for business and IT is essentially, especially in scenario automation for integration. Simply, RPA might be the right solution for some business problems, while some business scenarios might demand API customization based on their integration. Yet it is important in business scenarios to take sort of middle ground of analysis and consider both RPA and API integration and arrive at the option that makes all operations better to improve the productivity of agents or the employees, to make customer experiences better, and to stay ahead of competition. So mainly, there is no one right way, there is no right way or right answer on which way to go, but the choice has to be made based on which solution best fits the problem at hand. Suffice to say, while riding the tidal wave of automation, enterprises should understand there is more than one way to achieve a solution. And ultimately, it's not just about automation, but it's about implementing the right automation solution. So now we'll talk the integration with data capturing tool. So like it's this evolution of necessities within the digital tools, many of which will not integrate well with the grandfathered in the software. In response, enterprises often feel corralled into one of three ways forward, each more unfavorable than the last one. Is either replace a time-intensive, costly, disruptive replacement or rewrite of your whole legacy systems, or the custom API integration that needs to be developed, customized, hook switch code integration between legacy solutions, re-executing the quality, finding the right adapters, uh, tracing the risk management and certification efforts, and then the data integration that makes it a person job to manually migrate data from one solution to another over and over again. So for this whole tedious job, the robotic processes, the bot to migrate the data for you is the solution, because robotic process automation or RPA involves using software robots to interface with existing front-end infrastructure. These bots mimic the behavior of the aforementioned third option, so no human has to be subjected to the manual tedium of repetitive, painstaking data migration. Critically, no underlying infrastructure overhauls are necessary for RPA bots to interface with existing APIs. Since they interact with front-end UI, this means no capex to redesign IT infrastructure and no back and forth coding to manually build and rebuild integrations with new tools. The incredible ability to behave in an API agnostic manner makes those bots the perfect intermediaries between the new and the old. This brings us to talk more about how the integrations between the new and the old happen, which is quite simple. The first option is to teach bots to extract data out of the legacy system from the newer software. Alternatively, they can be conditioned to infuse or push data from the legacy software to other tools. The actual order of operation is less important than ensuring that your mission-critical software is always being empowered by the most up-to-date data so that you can compete effectively in your market. To that end, bots will perpetually and accurately perform this ongoing data entry migration so no critical information falls through the cracks. Rather than uprooting the foundation of your business's operations, bots allow you to bring your applications and processes together without significant IT investment. This is crucial not only in terms of cost, but also continuity. This deferment circumvents disruption of your operations. Simultaneously, it buys you more time to evolve for the long term. Enterprises with legacy processes needs to evolve, and RPA frees up the resources. They need to do so gradually. Case in point, integration woes have plagued manufacturing for years. Nevertheless, a monolithic reconstruction of IT infrastructure is not viable. According to the Harvard Business Review, it is not about starting from a clean sheet of paper, but integrating efficiently within the existing design and manufacturing environment. RPA is the enabler of those efficient integration, regardless of the industry in question. It holds the door to digital evolution open while you plan your next steps. It's about having better processes now so you can evolve gradually and without whiplash. Now we'll talk more about the case studies which Royce Fiber has implemented for multiple clients. So the first case study we have tonight is the automating the report generation process for multiple spreadsheets. Here the client was having a business challenge where they have to create this profit and loss reporting for an automation assessment. The process was performed daily by their finance and product control team. That used to take each member over an hour to complete. And mind you, there were two resources involved in it. So they were spending around 16 hours per day, because the process was time consuming, repetitive, bound to produce more error at any stage of the process that would require the whole report to be reworked and start from the scratch itself. The process was based on the business rules, so leveraging in automation, it has a potential to provide productivity benefits to finance and product control team. This would result in team's time being allocated to more value-adding activities. So the key objective of automating this process were to optimize the business processes, improve process efficiency, ensure cost effectiveness, and allocate these resources to perform more value-adding tasks. So these two resources were taking care of 20 reports per day. That means 16 hours being spent on the 40 reports per day, which is quite a hell of a time to move forward with having today's tools and technologies. So Royal Chamber comes up with their approach of the RPA implementation that is mainly based on 3 steps: RPA maturity assessment, the proof of concept, and the RPA implementation. In the assessment process, we define the processes. We first assess the process as in their manual steps. Each step has to be overlooked. A workflow has to be embedded within it, and then based on the workflow, we assign and assess the processes that needs to be automated for each single step with their exceptions, by providing the right flows, following the SLAs provided by the client, and then come up with the proof of concept for a small extraction of the data, the small extraction of those steps from the big whole huge process. Based on the client's approval and their availability, we then move towards the implementation process. The implementation process usually is based on the proof of concept, where we build up the whole, where we lay the foundation initially, and then build up the whole processes with a viable, solution demonstrating the effectiveness of their business cases. So Royal Chamber automated the business process using the RPA development lifecycle. We do the UAT for it, and then we train the customers, our clients, to how to use our bots and how to do the exception handling for the bot itself as a part of their support and operational processes. So this process was a 4-step process, the whole manual process. By implementing the bot, this just took up 2 processes. There, no human needs to send an email notification, needs to see the new update on the Excel sheet and the report folders for the new notification. The bot is going to do it all themselves within the two processes. The bot will execute itself as per the scheduled time of the 9 a.m. and start executing those 20 reports. By running the respective macros, doing the validation, extraction of the data, put them in the right format with zero deficiency in it. So the accuracy was improved in a better way, and the system has been been more effective and more value added to the whole organization. Another case study which Royal Chamber has performed is the payment request services in a legacy system. That was again for a financial client where there were like 3 dedicated resources needs to take care of the 1,000 transactions per month, and before taking the validating those 1,000 transactions per month, they need to validate each and every customer they have, either they are being due for their next payment or not. Based on those assessments, based on those notifications, they need to execute this whole process, which was seriously a time-consuming processes. So again, we just go up with our baseline approach of doing the assessment and then doing the implementation. This whole solution actually took us around 40 days, where we need to have to work a lot during the assessment period to find out the right FTEs for them, involving their business people, having the right SLAs for their manual processes that needs to be automated for this. And then the whole automation, the whole implementation part took 35 days in it. So I'm just coming to the point, like, to showcase you the number of steps being executed by the customers earlier, before having the bot, before and after the bot thing. So after the bot, again, reduce to 2 steps. The bot will log into the portal system themselves, check their assigned folder for notifications, check the existing customers, check the notification of their status, send a reminder email to the customers, checking their replies based on the reminder emails, and then again following back with them, based on the 2 days SLA defined for them. And if the payment does not go through the system, the bot will automatically cancel the system. So this whole human effort this whole steps require a lot of human effort, where you have to go back and forth to multiple screens, to multiple sheets, folder exceptions, status verification, exceptions and validations all together. So we managed to achieve that, within the 2 steps. So this is a whole, this was a whole concept of having the bot within it to reduce the human effort as much as we can. The third, one of the third case study for tonight is like it is the automation of the Express HR for employee onboarding. So here we, automate the whole employee onboarding processes for one of the major airlines, where again, I'll just skip this part of our approach, because our approach is like the same we go with. We emphasize more on the assessment, and then we bring up the proof of concept, because that's where we think, like, having the proof of concept in between will allow us to have to gain the trust of the customers, and then to move ahead for the bigger picture, and to have and to implement the bots for a longer term. So this onboarding process was like, again, a 6 to 5 step process, where they were like, this was a very tedious work in whole, because a lot of form needs to be filled, submit, check, validate, and move forward with their Express HR entry portals. There were like 3 or 4 portals involved. The logs has to be downloaded from the portal itself, and the request has to be made on their onboarding application, and from there it has to be linked with their Express HR portal, where the new IDs of the whole for the new employee will get linked with each other. And this whole thing was quite tedious in it altogether for the new hire specifically. So this whole 9-step process just reduced to the 2 steps, where the bot will be doing all the things, like it will go to the portal itself, it will log into the portal, it will check the invitation of the new employee, will link the new employee onto the Express HR entry portal, will provide all the defined information, the employee detail and everything, and then move on with the whole onboarding process itself. So the benefits were like pretty good in it, like they have achieved 100% of the accuracy in it, 51% of the reduction in their processing time. It improved their overall effort of the improvement of the TAD request for completing, and the human intervention, which has been very limited to exception handling. So the checking bot accuracy, reviewing and monitoring logs after generation is the process being complete. So this has actually been a real win for us as Royal Cyber as well, for to reduce the whole onboarding process and automating it completely. So the major this is the benefits from the payment request invitation, from where we like reduce their ROI by 40%, 40% increases in their ROI, and the issue management for those Excel sheet has been reduced by 20%, because they were bound to make mistakes as a human for doing the repetitive work with multiple Excel sheet involved in it, running the macros all together. However, like so that's all from my end regarding the case studies. Within the Royal Cyber, we provide like 40 hours of the complimentary assessment services. If you do not have, if you are not aware of the robotic process automation, your organization is not yet introduced with it. So we'll introduce you with the RPA, like we are doing it with our multiple webinars. But we'll find the right process of your organization during this complimentary assessment period that needs to be automated. In case if you already have some RPA tool available, that's where we can come up and assess the process and then implement a solution for you as a POC within these 40 hours. That's all from my end. Thank you for tonight.